typical day in the Indian state of Kerala. In July 1957. Imagine the familiar view outside your window. What if you saw it gradually turn red? The clothes of people caught in the rain would change to pink. Now my first thought would be, hey, I should run away in fear. Everything turns into a kind of horror movie. Because the raindrops that fall from the sky are bright red, and this is not a horror movie. It's all happening for real. Imagine the people walking down the streets, doing their business, and it starts to rain. Suddenly people start to shout and run away in fear. Everything turns into a kind of horror movie. Was dyed red by a meteorite burst. But the subsequent study came up with a different theory, claiming that rain is colored by algae spores carried by the wind and mixing with rain clouds. You might be surprised, but people are now accustomed to this phenomenon because red rain is typical for this region. Because of its white hue, milky rain, another sort of rain that alarmed the inhabitants nearby Washington and Oregon, baffled experts. And even when they examined the rainwater, they were unable to determine its source, leading them to come up with two hypotheses. What other rain colors are there? It could have been generated by dust from a lake in south-central Oregon, or it could have been created by ash from an active volcano in Russia mixed with the water. Oh, and there was one less than ideal component, poop. A similar rain event happened. Black rain is harmless, unless you're the guy who just washed his car. Black rain is caused by a mix of volcanic or even cosmic dust in the water. So your car is now covered in either dust particles that have been inside our planet for millions of years, or dust that has been flying through space and may be dangerous. However, black rain is caused by a mix of dust particles that have been inside our planet for millions of years and may be dangerous. Researching the brown rainwater revealed that dust was once again to blame, this time having traveled a very long way all the way from Africa. But it's not just colorful rains that can be frightful. We've all had the dream that money would just fall from the sky. And it actually did in a Russian city in 1940. And then dispersed throughout the little town. The coins date to the 16th century. The overall amount is currently difficult to determine. Hey, did I say there was a change in the weather? As in coins, perhaps best not then, but what if diamonds fell from the skies? Instead of coins, it's not just a fantasy. It's reality, just not on our world. Diamond rain is rather typical on Jupiter and Saturn. Large drops, according to scientists, maybe half an inch in diameter, which would be a rather large stone for a ring. Diamonds occur at tremendous heights due to the makeup of the atmosphere and thunderstorms. It can rain oats, rye, flowers, and other plants occasionally. For instance, in 1869 in the city of Autriche, France, it rained oak leaves. The locals were very surprised as the weather was quite clear and sunny, but the leaves appeared high in the sky and fell to the ground for some time, because the reason for this was that the planets were gas giants. When the diamonds fall, they reach the hot core of the planet, melt and evaporate upwards, and the process starts again. Arachnophobia is the second most prevalent fear in the world, so this rain may have scared a lot of people because, instead of water, spiders fell from the sky. Oh boy, how did the spiders get into the air? Well, they have a habit of climbing to high points, be it a fence or just a tall plant. When they reach the top, they start to release their web, which is so light that air currents lift the web and spider. But don't worry, the spiders aren't hurt in this strange rain. They land softly and then go about their business trying to frighten you. They're like spidery skydivers. Maybe frightening skydivers if you don't like spiders, if you enjoy spiders. Strangely, there were no nearby cornfields that could have caused this phenomenon in 2001, when it rained corn husks in Kansas. The local news reported that 20 to 30 inches of corn leaves covered the main streets of the town of Vicita, Kansas. Around 1982 to 1986, several homes in Evans, Colorado, were covered with corn. One local claimed that at least a few tons of corn kernels fell on his yard. Nonetheless, the residents of a tiny English town say that apples briefly fell from the sky. The apples were extremely enormous, but nobody was wounded other than a few cars. The locals understandably requested an explanation from meteorologists, who eventually agreed that a strong wind had picked up the apples from a nearby orchard and dropped them on the town, despite the fact that some residents were certain they had fallen from a passing board. What about non-food rain? In 1969, a very uncommon hailstorm that produced golf ball-sized hail hit the Florida coast. Literally hundreds of golf balls, according to news reports. Balls rained from the sky, like hail, which can result in significant injuries and property damage, but happily no one was wounded in this phenomena. Although there are many golf courses in the area and strong winds that could lift the balls off the ground and scatter them back to the ground, it's possible that the most beautiful rain you will ever see will be a meteor shower. Despite its name, these rains happen frequently and can be seen at a specific point in the night sky. There are about 112 meteor showers in the world. The most frequent of these phenomena is the Orionid meteor shower, which is associated with Halley's Comet, and typically occurs in early October. In some years, meteors may occur at rates of 50 to 70 per hour. Hey, it's not just rain that can be unusual, snow also falls from the sky. And it can be strange, like watermelon snow you can find it high up in the atmosphere.